YouTube, what's up? This is just kind of a quick update on Project ASSASSiN. I've actually got a couple things laid out, motor mount, battery position, and such. Let's see what we got. Here it is in all its splendor and glory. First things first, the all-important positioning of the motor and battery. A couple of interesting things turned out from this. I'll just get this out of the way. Nothing's actually tightened down. It's just kind of a dry fit. I was actually able to use focus, dang you. There we go. I was able to use the original engine mounts for the nitro engine that it so graciously sacrificed. As you will see, nothing there. There were a couple blocks coming off the end of that, which are now underneath my motor plate assembly, which is, interesting fact, a brushless conversion kit from Integy for the HPI Savage. Yeah. It was just very interesting how well this worked. I kind of like the color of it too. It's really cool. It's like a military jade green if you can't really see it on camera. One thing I don't like, and some of you may have already noticed, half of the mount is kind of hanging out here in the middle of nowhere. I do have a couple more holes I can use. You can make as many jokes about that as you want. I have another couple mounting holes I could use to probably mount up something that would keep that more stable. But seeing as I don't have the motor yet, I'm not sure how the geometry is going to work out, because the hole that you would use for a starter box, once again, with the jokes up in here, this down here would be used for a starter box. And the flywheel for the engine would actually be sitting down below here, so you could set this on top of a starter box and start the engine that way instead of yanking on the... Yeah. Once again, too many jokes. So many jokes, so little time. So depending on how long this motor is, I may extend this out to the point where I'm not even going to be able to mount this to anything, because there's not going to be anything underneath it. So we'll see where that goes. For now, servo is going to stay in its location. ESC will go here. That's the one thing that has not changed from the original plans that I showed in the last video. Actually, everything's working out fairly well. I'm able to use almost all the factory locations, or just kind of jerry-rig it to where it'll work. Another interesting thing that's come up, with this battery tray, also from that Savage conversion kit, you'll notice that the mounting posts, focus, thank you, actually have a little bit of clearance to them. It doesn't mount flush to the chassis to allow for these Velcro strips to go under that actually hold the battery in place. Well, an interesting fact, something I've noticed, if I can get that to sit, is that I'm able to run all the servo wires underneath and kind of snake it through up to back here where the receiver sits. I know it's a very odd location for the receiver, all the way back there, but it was either here or right on top of the steering servo, because this chunk of space is going to be taken up by the ESC, and this chunk of space is kind of a no man's land, because once this is running, all these gears are going to be spinning, and yeah, you can imagine all the nightmares and headaches that would come from that. Spinning gears plus exposed wire equals, yeah. Some of you are already like, no, bad idea. Yeah, you're right. I thought kind of maybe here, but yes, I don't know about that, because I'll just show you, actually. Let me get this unplugged. Come on. Come on. There we go. Kind of wrap that around. Stay. We'll continue with shot, people. Okay. As DJ Medic would so say, I'll link you to his YouTube channel later on. Actually, it'll be in the doobly-doo. Once again, Wheezy Waiter. I'll link to him too. You know, all that good stuff. Anyway, there was the other possible mounting location for the receiver. You'd be able to secure it with a couple of zip ties around here, but just looks kind of hill-jack. Not to mention, this thing is not waterproof whatsoever. And with these tires spinning and turning and flicking stuff like water and such into the chassis, I'm not sure how well that is going to work. So, I kind of went back here with it, and just kind of a side effect of that, I was able to figure this out and keep all the wires away from the spinning gears. Yeah. So, it's almost kind of a prophetic thing. So, back here it will be. I did get my Spectrum receiver and transmitter ordered in, and I will do a video of that whenever I get them in. But, actually, also with this was too long. It was actually extending over the chassis by, probably a couple millimeters per side. So I ended up having to cut trim all of this off, so it would actually fit into the chassis, but it should still hold a 6-cell or an 8-cell hump nickel metal pack, which I plan on using an 8-cell, and that's on order as well. Mainly to see if this is even going to work, and I pray to God it does. I've done all this work. I don't want it to be for nothing. After I get all that figured out and bolted down and settled in, then I'll order the motor and the ESC, and we're going to get this thing hopping. Once I get it running and all that good stuff, I am going to order a waterproof high-torque servo for this from Hi-Tech. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it's a high-torque, high-voltage, waterproof steering servo that will work perfectly for this rig. The ESC will be waterproof. The receiver will not be waterproof, but it'll be in a fairly waterproof location, because once everything is bolted in here, I'm going to lower these body posts down and drop the body basically right on top of the receiver. So there's not going to be a lot of water getting into there. Another thing, I'll be able to route the antenna right through here, and I'll show you what I mean. Just use the old AM antenna tube as an example. I'll be able to super glue an antenna tube of some kind to the shock tower and kind of use that to route the antenna up through the top of the body. And I'll probably actually just use this and find a cap for it or something to cap it off with. But yeah, well, what turned into a quick update was actually a fairly lengthy video, but that's it. This is actually making much better progress than I could have ever hoped. This is coming out so well. But it's going to come to where the rubber is actually going to meet the road when I get the battery in. Hopefully it fits in there. When I get the motor, hopefully the geometry fits. That I'm not too worried about. I know it's just going to work wherever it's going to be planted. The ESC, hopefully it fits in that spot. I'm not worried about the steering servo. Yeah, that's pretty well it. Hope you enjoyed, and whenever I start getting stuff in, I will post another video kind of going over all this in a bit more detail. So that's it for now. Peace out.